Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start with the hilarious story of the valet's petty revenge. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. I launch a complaint against my regulatory body, and all of a sudden, I get an audit. I don't make it a lot of fun. I'm a paramedic. I hold a licensure to practice in my home province, and we're a self-regulated profession answering to the Province College of Paramedics. The cop sucks. They're run basically by the dregs of society who decided to become bureaucratic sociopaths. This past year, they had a problem with my CPR certificate. Apparently, being an instructor with the Red Cross was not good enough. I was forced to take heart and stroke. Such a bullcrap and arbitrary decision. For F's sake, I teach CPR 30 times a year. Anyways, I got my card and was able to keep my license. Since they effed with my career, I wrote a letter to the registrar complaining about their effery. The problem is that I was actually suspended for non-compliance and couldn't work for 11 days. I was given 3 days notice to get a new CPR card, and our registration closes December 31st. Of course, everyone who teaches was closed for the holidays. I didn't particularly enjoy my unpaid holiday and written reprimand at work, so I fired off a letter. While I will admit it was highly vitriolic, I thought it was necessary to convey my displeasure since they cost me nearly 2 weeks' pay. Fast forward 6 weeks and I'm browsing through my email spam folder, just by chance looking for an email my grandmother told me that she sent, and lo and behold, I find an email from the COP, Urgent Practitioner Audit. With absolute horror, I open it up. I've got 2 days left to submit proof of my yearly professional development requirements. I'm aghast. They sent a single email that was filtered out by Gmail, no calls, no follow-up, and once again I'm risking getting my license suspended and possibly even revoked. Dirty mother effers, I think. It's not enough you take $700 from me every year. Not enough you having suspended me without actual cause. 9 years of the last 10 having a Red Cross instructor card was sufficient. You give me an audit and don't ensure I knew about it? Well, I've got a vindictive streak in me that rarely comes out, but today I feel a great injustice has been done. So every year I have to do training, classroom or online courses to keep up my skills and knowledge. My employer provides a ton of material so I can meet my registration requirements. We have a credit system, and generally you get 5 credits per hour up to a maximum of 40 per course. Yearly, we have to submit 90 credits to keep ourselves in good standing. My audit requires I submit scans or PDFs of certificates and course outlines that reflect both content and hours. I've done a lot of courses this past year. I like learning, so I'm way beyond the required 90 credits. I've taken nearly 30 courses, some long, some short, some online, some in classrooms. I submit all my documents in PDF form, certs, outlines. Dang it. I'm just so paranoid about the possibility of not sending in everything I need that I resort to taking separate screenshots of all my digital manuals, each page saved individually, of course, and scans of each page of my physical course manuals alongside my certificates. You can never be too careful, I reason. It ends up being over 500 documents, and unfortunately, I don't have the luxury or time to label any of them. They get several batches of emails with PDFs named Untitled 1 to 594. Maybe it wouldn't have been so bad, but being threatened with a deadline, I didn't sort them, and there's really no logical order to their position in the 500. Enjoy your day, a-holes. I'm assuredly compliant. I did get a call from the college. Nice of these jerks to finally call, asking me to resubmit, but aw shucks, I'm in New Zealand for vacation visiting my grandmother and nearly 10,000 kilometers from my laptop. And our next story. Theft isn't victimless. And yes, I did take it personally. This was about 2 years ago while I was living at my buddy's place. His place wasn't in the best part of town, so theft happens all the time, and for the large part, most of these crimes are met with a sucks to be you attitude from the police, who then create a report and forget anything happened entirely. Okay, so I wake up early on Thursday morning with a call from my roommate who was running to work at 5 a.m., and he explains the detached garage had been broken into. The thief broke in through the window and stole a bunch of stuff, with highlights being Milwaukee drills, motorcycle jackets, and the receiver and sub from one of those surround sound systems in a box package deals, but leaves the speakers around the rest of the place. Saying I was livid is an understatement. I work hard for my things and have no intention of replacing them so some jerk can sell them for a very small profit. So for roughly the next 4 days, my focus is entirely on this, and you'll see why shortly. So I know the chances are slim that I'll ever find my stuff, but hey, it can't hurt to look for it on the common online sales places. I used eBay searching local sellers only. I put alerts on Craigslist, an extremely handy feature, and tell my roommate to keep an eye on Craigslist since he has a little time. So fast forward to Friday. My roommate calls me up and tells me he thinks he found our stuff on Craigslist. I pull up the ad, and sure as crap, there it is. This beautiful, not too bright gentleman had taken all the stuff he took from us and put it into a single ad in the barter section of Craigslist. He even added the model numbers, not serial numbers, making things very easy to identify. The giveaway was this cheap surround sound system for which he had only the receiver and the sub, and after a quick search reveals this particular system is only sold as a package. You can't buy the single components. So this was definitely our stuff. I call the police thinking case closed, but guess what? They don't care that I found this stuff on Craigslist, and after about 20 minutes of complaining on the phone with non-emergency, they ask me what they want them to do. I say, send a car over here. I want to speak with someone directly. So they reluctantly send a car with a very nice officer. She was nice. I'm sarcastic, but she really was nice. Anyway, she runs the number associated with the Craigslist ad, and guess what? He's got a rap sheet a mile long and has been arrested like 10 times for theft. With the break in the case, I think I'm home free. But nope, the cop can't do anything. The investigator needs to take care of this, she says, and leaves. So I call the investigator who doesn't work on Fridays. I ask who I can speak with so they can send me a message up the investigator's team line, to which no one answers at all. I try again on Saturday and learn investigators don't work weekends at all, and I'd have to wait till Monday before I could talk to my investigator. Good thing crime doesn't happen on weekends. Otherwise, cop weekends would be in trouble. So I call on Monday and Sergeant Drags His Feet is out sick. It was at that point I was done trying to call them. I drove to the police station and demanded to speak with an investigator. I mentioned to this new investigator the situation and the name of the guy who was in the Craigslist ad, and the cop knows him very well and has arrested him on a couple of occasions. The cop is confident the police can now help me since I've already done all the dang work here. Finally, the cops tell me to make a meeting with this guy and let him know when and where. So again, the work's on me. And to meet this guy. Thanks, police. So I text him a few times with no response, then I call him and joke around and express interest in a variety of items, most of which are mine, but a few that aren't. Since simply asking for the things from one of the victims is suspicious in my mind, so I tell him I'm Christmas shopping. I then say I'm from out of the area and ask him to pick the location. He lists off a few places, one of which is a grocery store within eyesight of the police station, so I pick that and laugh to myself at how this is turning out. I call the cops, let them know the deal is on and when and where it is. They say they'll be in an unmarked car and that I should take my wallet out as a sign to swoop in and make the arrest. So I pull into the parking lot. I see no cops. I stop and wait. I think the guy's a no-show when he finally shows 10 minutes late. My heart's pounding at this point. I get out, meet the mastermind criminal, and shake his hand. He proceeds to pull out my stereo, then my drills, and a few other odds and ends, and before I can get my wallet out, a gold Taurus speeds in, and out pops 3 cops with guns drawn and cuff the guy. When this happened, I just turned around and walked away for a second while they put him in the car. The lead cop asks me if this is my stuff, and I say yes. It matches with the previously provided, very detailed description I gave the police. All the while, the guy in cuffs is yelling, "That's my stuff!" Finally, the cops get the warrant for his apartment, find the rest of all of our stuff and a few other people's things, and I have all my stuff back by Wednesday, the following week. He received 1.5 years in a state penitentiary for his efforts. I kind of fixate sometimes, and he got unlucky by stealing from someone who didn't just claim renter's insurance. Advice: record the serial numbers on everything you own. Cell phone, computer, TV, router, stereo, etc. If you can give that to the police, you have a stronger chance of getting your stuff back. Pawn shops need to report all serial numbers that come through. And our last story. Park in our driveway, get a naked man to argue with you. College. A bunch of guys rent a beat-up old house in town next to a daycare. Problem is, the parents picking up and dropping off park in our driveway. We argue with the owner of the daycare every day. She doesn't care. So one day, I began parking behind the parents who were parked in my driveway. This infuriates the daycare owner. We go back and forth, and usually I go out and move my car so the parents can get their car out. One day, though, I just had it. I'd worked most of the night, had early morning classes, and have 20 minutes to shave, shower, and get ready for my second job that afternoon. I get home, and sure enough, parents are in our driveway again. So I park behind them and go inside. Get in the shower, and when I get out, the daycare owner is beating on the door loud enough to shake the wall. I go downstairs, wrapped in a towel, and open the door. She bursts into the middle of the living room and screams at me. While she's screaming, I take the towel off and calmly dry my hair. I am buck effing naked. She stops screaming long enough to realize she's standing next to a naked college student, screams something about calling the cops, and bolts for the door. It doesn't open. In her haste to leave, she's locked the door instead of unlocking it. Now she's stuck with a naked man. I tell her I have the key to unlock the door, but the key's upstairs on my dresser. I leave her looking like she's about to have a heart attack. I take the longest time to go upstairs and get dressed and get the key. When I come back to the living room, she is white as a ghost. I unlock the door and say, sucks to be stuck and not able to leave, right? Fast forward about 20 minutes, and as I'm leaving, there's a cop parked in front of the house. I chat with them through the car window, explain the situation, and they chuckle. Did you invite her in? No, I tell them. She barged into my house. Well, it's not a crime to be naked in your own house. Her problem for violating your privacy. I'd love to say this rectified the situation, but it didn't. We never found a way to stop parents from parking in our driveway, but it was fun for a few minutes to freak a stuck-up, mean old middle-aged woman. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.